Hey there, everybody. Hopefully you are keeping well. Let's get right into today's note. So what we're doing today is there's actually nothing really new being taught. I'm kind of just wrapping up what we've already gone through and bringing it together. So this stuff's going to be really important for the next note, which is going to be word problems. Okay, so essentially what our next assignment on Friday is going to be is I'm just going to be giving you a word problem. And you're going to have to solve everything based on the question I give you. Okay? So we'll be getting into word problems later, like our next note, but as of right now, I'm going to go through these basics. Okay, so standard and factored form. We have done standard form. It looks like this. Okay, so standard form is this guy right here. Okay, so we've already looked at this before. So when it comes to our quadratic equations, when they are in our standard form, we're still going to be looking for our y-intercept and our x-intercepts like we did with linear. They're just, this time it's a curve, so we just have to find a couple of other things first. So finding the y-intercept when we are in standard form, okay, in this form here. So what do? We let x equal to 0, and we just solve for y. So it's super easy. Because remember when we're dealing with our y-intercepts that it's where it crosses the y line. Well, what does x equal for our y-intercept? Well, it's 0, right? Because if we were to go to here, let's say our y-intercept's at this 5. I know you can't really see what I'm pointing at. Well, our x-axis is 0. Okay, so this should be well known by now, guys. So, just a reminder, y-intercept, it's when x is equal to 0. So that's why we let x equal 0. So find the y-intercept for the following equations in standard form. So we could look at this and just graph it and find it, or we could just plug in zeros wherever there's an x. So I'm going to do both for a couple just to show you guys, so you believe me. Hopefully you do. So what does it say? It says x equals 0, so wherever there's an x, we throw in a 0. So y is equal to x squared, so because it's an x, I'm going to throw in a 0. Minus 8x, which is now a 0, and then minus 33. Okay, what is 0 squared? Which is also known as 0 times 0. Okay, well, it's 0. What's 8 times 0? What? Oh, hold on, sorry. What? Pardon? Sorry, I just got called out for something. That's okay. I'm good. Okay, 8 times 0, it is 0. And then minus 33. Well, 0 minus 0 minus 33 is negative 33. So for this equation, my parabola should cross at negative 33 on the y-axis. So let's I'm going to see if I can do this. It might not let me because it's a PDF. Oh. Okay, so as you can see, I'm copying my equation. I'm going to throw it right into Desmos. Hopefully it works. Okay, no, it won't. I don't know why it won't let me paste it. Okay, y is equal to x squared minus 8x minus 33. So as you can see, I haven't done anything to the equation. It's the exact same equation that we were just working on. So I'm going to just zoom out so we can see it better. Okay, where does our parabola cross this y-intercept? Okay, well, I'm going to zoom, 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 negative 33. Sweet, so we're right. Okay, let's do another one. So, we let our x equal to 0. Sorry, I've got lots of mosquito bites. Y is equal to 2 bracket 0 squared plus 6, 0 minus 80. Okay. Remember bed mass, we have to do exponents first. 0 squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0 minus 80. 0 plus 0 minus 80 is minus 80. Let's see if that works. I'm going to graph it. Y is equal to 2x squared plus 6x minus 80. Okay, where does it cross our y line, our y-axis? Voila, at negative 80. So we're right. So if I were to say find the y-intercept for y is equal to 3x squared minus 48, hopefully you would say my y-intercept is negative 48. I didn't even plug zeros in this time. Okay? So what do you notice about the y-intercept? Well, it's whatever my c value is. And what do I mean by that? So remember, this is in standard form. I'm going to do this in pencil. A, ooh, that looks bad. B, C. A, B, C. A, now our B is technically 0x, so we're not even going to write that in. C. Okay? So that's what our y-intercept is every time. So whenever you look at something in standard form and you look at whatever our c value is, that's our y-intercept. Okay? Okay. So, find the y-intercept for the following equations in standard form. I'm just going to go through these quickly. Hopefully you've realized it's minus 15, it's positive 4, and it is minus 8. If you're unsure, graph it. Okay? Pull out some Desmos, graph it. Okay, factored form. Ooh. So you guys have done factoring. For those of you who submitted your test, most of you did really well with the factoring, and I'm really impressed. But did you use Photomath? Honestly, most of you probably did. Because we're in a pandemic, obviously I can't do anything about it, but remember when it comes to grade 11 math, and if a teacher says, well, I was told that you didn't teach them that, I'm gonna be like, I did, and they use Photomath, so whatever. Use it for now, I don't care, but later on, careful, okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay, so factored form. So all we're doing here is we're factoring now. And we've done this before. We factored and we let the x's, or we solve for the x's, because we want to know now where this parabola crosses the x-intercept. We've done it with y, now we're going to do it for x. So, again, all we're doing is factoring two numbers that add to this that multiply to this. Okay, so one thing I'm just realizing now, guys, is, okay, when it comes to factoring, we're just going to have to common factor first. So we have to do another type. What I didn't really get into in detail, guys, with respect to this factoring is we just kind of kept it really, I've kept it really simple with respect to, we've done common factoring and then simple trinomials. This difference of squares we didn't do. Okay. It's not a big deal. So when it comes to this type of factoring, I'm going to just show you what we have to do first because there's actually one other step. Don't worry about it. Okay, we're just doing common factoring and simple trinomials. So find the zeros for the equations. So we're going to factor this. So remember, it's two numbers that add to this and multiply to this. Okay? So that add to -8 and multiply to, actually I'll just do -33. Okay, so you might need to get out your chart, your factor table, which is absolutely fine. 33, there's actually not a lot of multiples for 33. So if I do multiply to -33, again, you might need to use that flow chart to figure out what signs we're going to be using. Okay, if that's what you want to do, there's absolutely no problem with that. I'm going to take that out because hopefully by now either you have it ready or you can just do it. Okay, so what are two things that multiply to -33? Because it's negative, I know one number has to be positive, one number has to be negative. So we have 1 and -33, -1, 33. I have -3 and 11, and then I have 3 and -11. Okay, so now adds to -8. So 1 plus, let's do this. So 1 plus -33 is -32. -1 plus 33 is 32. -3 plus 11 is +8. And 3 minus 11 is -8. Okay, so these are my two numbers here. So we're going to be doing x plus 3, x minus 11. So remember now we have to solve for x, meaning we have to find out what x is equal to. So we do x plus 3 is equal to 0. 11 is equal to 0. So remember left side, right side. Okay, I told you that all this stuff would come into play someday. -3, -3. So those two cross out. 0 minus 3 is -3. Okay, there's my first one. Opposite of -11 is +11. Those two give me 0, so I just cross them out. X is equal to 11. Okay, so those are my zeros. That means that's where this parabola crosses my x-intercept. So if I go back to this equation, we do y is equal to x squared minus 8x minus 33. Okay, so we already know our y-intercept is -33. Let's check out our y-intercepts. So our parabola crosses our x-axes at -3 and 11, which is what we just calculated. I know, mind blown. Okay, so we're going to do that for the next two. The same ones we actually have already looked at above. So This one, now the thing is, what I was trying to get at, guys, is there's a 2 here, which I'll just go like this, which I haven't actually gone over with you guys, only due to with everything that's going on. Usually in class I would. So the only thing is, what I'm doing different here is I'm common factoring first. So I won't give you a question like this on your test, okay? It is still good to know, though. I'm going to just tell you right now, there's a 2 in everything, so what does that look like? It's going to look like y is equal to 2 x squared plus 3x minus 40. Okay? So what's going to happen is we're now going to factor this. That's the only difference. So some of you are going to be like, I don't get it. That's okay. Some of you are going to understand it. And yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. So what are we going to factor? We're going to factor this. So what did I do over here? Remember, 2 numbers that add to positive 3 and multiply to negative 40. So again, you can find your factor chart, find your flow chart. So that multiplies to negative 40. So what do I have? So remember, it's a negative, so one number has to be positive, one number has to be negative. If you use your flow chart, you're going to find that the bigger number has to be positive. So I'm only just going to do that. Okay, I'm just going to save myself a bit of time. So I know 1 and 40 give me 40. My bigger number has to be positive, meaning my smaller number is negative. Okay. 2 and 20. Okay, my smaller number is negative. I don't think 3 works. Nope. And then I've got 4 and 10. Again, how do I know my smaller number is negative? I use the flow chart. I'm not going to say that again. Then I've got 5 and 8. 6 I don't think works. 40 divided by 6. Nope. 40 divided by 7. Nope. And then that's it. So those are all my factors. Now I'm going to add them together. So I got to find out what adds to positive 3x. Okay. Negative 1 plus 40 is 39. Negative 2 plus 20 is 18. Negative 4 plus 10 is 6. And negative 5 plus 8 is 3. So there we go. Okay. So x minus 5, x plus 8. Remember, we have to make these equal to 0. Again, some of you might not even have to do this step. If you realize that just the sign's different from what's inside the bracket, then you've won. Okay, that's fantastic. You can move right on. But for those of you who don't, it's okay. Opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. We do that to both sides. They cross out. Opposite of negative or positive 8 is negative 8. Those cross out. Negative 8. X is equal to 5. X is equal to negative 8. Okay, don't believe me? Let's show you. So you know what I'm going to do? To show you this, I'm going to plug in the original equation. Y is equal to 2x squared plus 6x minus 80. Okay, so what do we know about this already? We know that our y-intercept is negative 80, which is showing us here. This question, we want to know our roots. Okay, think of our roots as like a tree. Okay, where are your roots? Okay, that's kind of like, if you think of it with respect to the x-axis is horizontal. So think of it as the ground. Okay, where are our roots? Okay, we've got one at negative 8, and we've got one at positive 5. That's what we came up with. I think this will come a little bit easier when we start doing word problems, and you're like, oh my god, why does this make, or why are we doing this, blah, blah, blah. I will show you with the word problem. Okay, last question. I'm going to go through it really quick. First thing I'm going to do is common factor first. So I'm going to take out a 3, because there's a 3 in both 3x squared and negative 48. So okay, now I need to factor this guy. So this is technically called difference of squares. We did not get into that, so actually, I'll just finish this really quick. But you won't be doing this. I'll tell you right now. Voila, look at that. Super easy. Okay, I know I did that quick. Here's some practice problems for you guys if you want to do these ones. Okay, remember if you want to try this one, you have to take the 2 out first. So it'll be 2x squared minus 2x minus 35. And then you're going to factor this. Okay? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring everything together. Now I've got a few different examples here. So complete all the information in the table for the following equations and then graph. So we need to, this is bringing everything together. And, oops. Yeah, so let's go step by step. Okay. Complete the information. So, first thing I want you to find is the y-intercept. How do you do that? You look for the c value when it's in standard form. So, ooh, I want a blue. Okay, look, our equation up here is in standard form. So, that's a really wide highlighter. So, what's our y-intercept? It's 3. That was easy. Okay, our zeros. What does that mean? Well, it means you factor it. Why is it so wide? Oh, because I set it to be wide, that's why. Duh! There we go. Okay, so that means we gotta factor it. So we just did this. So that means we're gonna factor this equation that we just did. So we have y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 3. So remember, two things that add to this but multiply to this. Look, that number's super small for 3. Remember, it's positive 3. That means both of our numbers either have to be positive, but they have to be negative. If you look at the flow chart, you're going to find out that both our numbers are actually negative because our b term, so our negative 4x, is negative. So, things that multiply to 3, I've got 1 and 3. I know both my numbers are negative because I looked at my chart. That's negative 4. How easy was that? So we have x minus 1, x minus 3. I have to make these equal to 0. Left side, right side. Again, if you can skip this step, please do. By just telling me what the zeros are. Those two cross out. X is equal to 1. X is equal to 3. So those are my y-intercepts. Okay. Axis of symmetry. So what do? We add the two x-intercept values and divide by 2. So this is new, technically, because when we were looking at our axis of symmetry earlier, we had already graphed it. So if we look at our two x-intercept values, we add them up and divide by 2. Well, here's 1 and here's 1. So I'm going to use green to show that they're my x-intercept values. But the question says add them up, divide by 2. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this is my axis of symmetry. Okay? Substitute the x value, the vertex. Go into red. Substitute the x value from the axis of symmetry. So again, axis of symmetry, that value we found to be 2, into the equation to find the value of y. So our equation is y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 3. It says substitute the x value from our axis of symmetry. So we're going to put this value into here and this value into here. So remember, when we're replacing a letter, we put in a number. Or we put in brackets, I'm sorry. Okay, let's solve. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3. I am following BEDMAS. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Put it in your calculator if you don't believe me. Okay. Direction of opening. If A is positive, it opens up. If A is down, it is negative. So look, remember, here's our A. In case you guys forget, it's A, B, C. This is A. Is it positive or negative? Well, there's no negative sign there, so that means it is positive. So, does it open up or down? Up. Ooh. One more. The max or min value. So, let's find a different color. I like orange. So the max or min value is always the y value of the vertex. So, and then it says it's a max value if it opens down or a min value if it opens up. Well, this has to deal with the one that we did before. So if it opens down or if it opens up, well, we just found out this opens up, so it's going to be a min value because we're using the information we just took. And then it's the y value from the vertex. Well, we just calculated that too. It's right here. So it's a min value of negative 1. So One thing that I should have done as we did this, but it's okay, is graph it as I went through. So what I'm going to do is go back to our original question, or to the stop, graph it as we go. So our y-intercept, we figured out it's 3. I'm going to go back to blue. I am going to graph 3. 1, 2, 3 in my blue. Sweet. My zeros are 1 and 3. Okay? These two right here. So, I know my parabola goes through this point, and it also goes through this point. Axis of symmetry. Add the two values, so that means that's that mirror point. If you guys forgot, it's the point where if I were to put a mirror on that spot, my parabola will look exactly the same in the mirror as it does on the page. So my axis of symmetry is at 2 when x is equal to 2. It's not exactly on it, but that's all right. My vertex. So my vertex, that's the point where it changes. We know it has to deal with our axis of symmetry. So it's going to be somewhere along this line. Okay, it's somewhere along here. We just need to pinpoint it. Well, we found out it's at -1. So, -1. Direction of opening is up. So that means it's going to look like this. I wish I could save my colors. So I know that it's going to go up. I know I didn't hit the point, but that's okay. And then my min value is at -1, which we've already kind of figured out. And voila, you have successfully graphed this whatever. So I know it's a bit of work. It takes some time, but that's okay. So I'm going to do the next one with you. Okay. And then this next one you can do by yourself. I am going to actually change this one, though, really quick. There. So it said do that one instead, okay? Okay. So for this one, again, I have to common factor first. So it's actually going to be y is equal to -2 x squared minus 4. So I'm actually going to do this one. And then when it comes to all the work that we're doing, it's going to be y is equal to this. Like, I'm going to essentially ignore that -2. Okay, so y-intercept. If you look up here, look for the c value, where c value is -4, because if I do ABC, A, there's actually no B, because B has the X, and C. So, it's -4. My zeros, well, I have to factor this, right? Then I find my zeros. So I need to factor So I need to find two numbers. Now, what this is actually going to look like so I really need to find two numbers that add to 0 but give me -4. That's what difference squares. That's okay. So what are two numbers multiplied together that give me -4? Well, is it -1, -4? No, that's -5. Is it 1 and 4? Nope, that gives me 5. Is it 2 and 2. No, that gives me 4. Is it negative 2, negative 2? No, it gives me negative 4. It's negative 2, positive 2. Okay, so you guys would have figured out what the signs were. Well, actually, because it's different, the squares would be a little different. So it's going to be x plus 2, x minus 2. That means x is going to equal minus 2. X is going to equal positive 2. So let's get that graph. We've got our y-intercept. We have got our zeros, our roots. Okay. Axis of symmetry. We take our two roots, we add them up, divide by 2. Negative 2 plus 2, divide by 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. 0 divided by 2 is just 0. So that means my axis of symmetry is actually along this line here. My vertex, what do we say about the vertex? Substitute the x value from the axis of symmetry into the equation to find the value of y. Our x value is 0. Zero squared is 0. 0 times negative 2 is 0. 0 plus 8. 8. So our vertex is going to be up at, oops. Oh, there we go. I lied to you guys. Our x-intercept is still 8. Sorry guys, I lied to you. Okay? Because we have to take it from our standard form. Okay, this is technically factored. Okay, learn something new every day. So that means our y-intercepts here, which is also our vertex. Okay? Meaning that's the changing point. Does it go up or down? Well, if we look at our equation's negative, so it's down. And we have a max or min value. Well, because we know it's going down, we're going to have a max value. A max. And is always the y value of the vertex. Well, the y value of the vertex, we figured out was 8. So that one just kept coming up a lot. And whoop, whoop. Okay. So, I know that seems like a lot. I'm not going to give you a question like the one we just did, I promise. You're going to get something more like this. So please practice it. If you do it, you can send me a picture and I will look it over to make sure that you did it properly. Also, too, don't forget your practice questions. I'll be posting those as well, of course. But this one, it just takes some time. Okay? So just take your time with this. You'll be able to find all the information. And then when it comes to the word problems, I'm going to explain why this stuff makes sense. Okay? Besides that, guys, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let me know if you have any questions. See you.